Morning with Miami Ghost Chronicles, stories of the supernatural. And on my way back into Miami, I stopped here at the Desert Inn at Yeehaw Junction, the haunted Desert Inn. They're closed down. They've got different hours now during the summer. Anyway, I stopped here real quick because I wanted to, which in a way is good because nobody's here, is go to one of the two rooms back here. I mean, the actual restaurant and ex-bordello are over there, but where I'm standing at right now is two of the supposedly haunted rooms here in the Desert Inn. I'm going to turn this around real quick. Okay, and I've got my Ovilus going, but see, this is room number 6. Okay, and some years ago, and by the way, this is not urban myth because I did do an earlier show about the Desert Inn in Yeehaw Junction, and it is based in truth, that a guy fell asleep with a lit cigarette and he burned himself either very badly or killed himself here when his mattress basically caught on fire. And this was in room number 6. I believe it was during the, I want to say either the late 80s or the 90s, or even before that. And then right next to it, okay, is room number 5. And again, I did research on this, and this is also true. A lady checked in like on a Friday, and by, I guess the cleanup crew here for the hotel didn't hear from her, and finally I think by Monday they opened up the door because they were kind of concerned that they hadn't seen her, or I guess they hadn't been able to get into the room to change the sheets, and they found she had killed herself by shooting herself in the head, which was pretty gruesome because in truth women very rarely do it that way. And oh my god, yeah, and there's a chicken. They have a chicken that always runs around here that they always keep. Okay, and over there I've got my Ovilus going, and I was hoping that I'm gonna get something from you know, from here. And towards the front of the actual Desert Inn, you know, upstairs they used to have a bordello, which that is true. And at one time they had a guy who hung himself. This was when they still rented the rooms upstairs, obviously when it wasn't a bordello anymore, where he hung himself from one of the pipes. And I think after that is when they stopped. They said no more renting out, you know, this the upstairs for people. They just went ahead and were letting people stay here, out here. And but I did do research, and you know, this area has been used as like a stopover since like before the turn of the century for people that were driving cattle around all over the place. And even when it was a bordello, they did have suicides up there, believe it or not, from the men. One of them, as a matter of fact, I think he was over a broken heart, which makes me wonder maybe he fell in love with one of the prostitutes and she maybe told him no, not interested. And so that last suicide that occurred there's my chicken there having a that was not the first one, in other words. And there was other things that went on there, of course. When you've got, and there's this crow, or that's been checking me out since I stopped. Oh, paint. Okay, that's my first word that I got. I got my first word on the Ovilus, which is paint. Okay. Which is hard to tell because God, that could be anything. Paint. Oh, I mean, this is well painted. I don't know. Do they want to paint? I mean, that's another thing. You know, they've had several owners of the Desert Inn for like over the years. And one of the ladies, I can't remember her name right off the bat right now, she was so well known that she was considered the unofficial mayor of Yeehaw Junction. And of course, that means she probably knew everybody that lived around here, you know, a lot of people that stopped in here, even if the truckers would, like in W-O-U-L-D. Oh, okay, you're gonna have to help me with that. That's pretty out there. And as a matter of fact, let me turn this out. Way out there in those fields, a little bit, you know, as you could tell, this is a big agricultural area. A few years back in the 90s, they found the skeletal remains of, we would assume as an older man, because he had no teeth. Maybe he was an old guy, had lost his teeth, or a younger guy that didn't take good care of his teeth. But bottom line, up to the date, they've never been able to identify his remains. He remains, and I believe they believe it was, in other words, that he was killed. He didn't go out to the field and lay down and die. And they had very few things. They found only skeletal remains, and it was I believe they did a sketch art of him. It's a white man, looks older, but no teeth, and they just found his skeletal remains out in one of these fields out here, which, by the way, happens quite a lot, where they come across remains just haphazardly, you know, whether it's because somebody's farming or cutting the grass or you name it. But anyway, yeah, this is the back of the property, and towards the front is the actual Desert Inn. Okay, and right now this Ovilus has given me two words that in truth I cannot do much with. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna stand by drive. You know, see, a lot of people say this Ovilus. This is, I don't know if it's hard not to hear all the trucks that go backwards and forwards around here. This is like an intersection, US 441 and State Road 60. Okay, this is a trucking route, and when you get a word like drive, okay, that says a lot. Okay, because you just can't help it that that's a very significant word tied into this place, just because of where it's at, and it historically has been at. Like I said, before they even had an actual road, they would drive cattle, and this would be like a stopover for all these cracker cowboys and just about anybody. And it wasn't like to like the 30s that they actually did a road that would connect like between here from the east coast of Florida out west. And of course, but even before then, people were coming in and using this area to get back, you know, around, either going south to sell cattle or vice versa, or up to north. And of course, at one point it was called not Yeehaw Junction. Everybody asks us because they used to have a lot of mules or burros, jackasses. So it was called Jackass Junction, Jackass Crossing. They had various versions of that, but I guess when they wanted to give it an official name, nobody wanted to have the word ass in it. So that's why it's called Yeehaw Junction. But the Desert Inn has gone through different incarnations. Like I said, and for quite a while, believe it or not, till the 1980s, the bordello was there. Cool. Okay, this is a modern ghost. Somebody's going to be using the word cool, you know, if they're back from the turn of the century. So yeah. Okay, guys, you know, I'm doing a cemetery run from up in Sanford, and I was up by Casadega, which is a spiritual camp. I'm heading down into Miami. In a little bit, I'm going to be going to Fort Bessenger Cemetery and then head home. So I'll catch you guys later, because right now I'm just not getting anything significant here, but I've always wanted to take a look and get a feeling out of these two rooms. You know, maybe nothing is here. It doesn't mean just because somebody committed suicide, but whether it's residual or active or whatever the case might be, you know, it's, you know, you almost think it's sad, you know, not only the fact that somebody kills themselves, even though this guy, it sounds like it was an accident, he fell asleep with a cigarette, but this lady that checked in, you know, and she decides that she's gonna rent a room here in this little motel, you know, at this crossroads, and to take her life. Okay, that's pretty sad, besides the actual suicide part, which is, can't get any worse than that. And yeah, here it is. And you know, right now, you can see behind me, okay, those are the curtains, and I can't see anything in it. You know, there's nothing here to see per se, and everything else is locked up tight. Even the bathroom, there's nothing to peek in, nothing at all. So all right guys, I'm gonna catch you guys later. Hope you liked it. I love these little stopovers.